Okay, so welcome to my first episode of Heather's Italian Travels YouTube channel. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. I've been working on this for several months on this project, and I actually have 2 to 3 videos in my queue that I was planning to have ready before I launched the channel. But then what happened? The coronavirus. So that's what everybody wants to know about. I've had a lot of people calling me and saying, Heather, what's going on? Are you guys okay? We've been watching everything on the TV and the reports, but what's really happening? So that's what I'm going to tell you about today. I'm not going into all the stats and facts and details like that because I know you're all doing your own research. Everybody has their own opinions. I'm just going to tell you about what it's been like over here, how this last week has gone. So here we go. Welcome back. So one thing that has been great is that my husband has a lot of experience in working with emergency preparedness and has met with a lot of different government agencies. And so he's been very keen on watching things very closely on how things have handled, how the statistics have come in, and so that's given me some comfort to be able to understand really what's happening, even though there's still been a lot of unknowns. But with that, we've done our very best to make the best decisions we can for our family and to prepare ourselves. But I'm going to walk you through each day because at any given moment things have been completely different, and it's been quite a whirlwind this week. Okay, so on February 23rd, which was last Sunday, we were hearing about a lot of people that were coming back from Venice because last weekend was the last weekend of the Carnevale celebration. It's very big in Venice. So there were thousands of study abroad students and people that went from Florence to Venice for the weekend. And some of the people that we knew personally had come back, and right as they were leaving Saturday night, Venice was closed. And so nobody could go out or in, and they got out just in time. So the people that we personally knew of, they came back to Florence, felt just completely fine, no symptoms, and everybody felt good. They were just glad they got out in time. Also that day at church, we had heard that there were 2 members of our church in Milan that got the virus, and one of them died. And so at that point, we're thinking, whoa, we need to pay attention. What is going on? Because this is pretty close to home. And then by the evening, Sunday night, our local bishop, sent a message to all the members saying, please make sure you guys have a food storage and you have a supply of food for a period of time if you don't already. So, and make sure your families are prepared. So for us, we were thinking, okay, let's look at what's going on. This is a common practice that we always do on a regular basis to have a good supply of food storage. So we were evaluating, all right, how are we on our own food supply? Okay, so February 24th, which was Monday, we did send our kids to school, and we prepared them, talked to them about the whole spill and all the details, all the things to be prepared with. Everybody had their sanitizer. We told them to not let anybody pay attention if people were coughing and sneezing around them. Don't ride the buses. We'd take them to school and pick them up, and to pay attention to everything they touched and just all the precautions. Just be careful. And then one of the things that we always focus on with emergency preparedness is when you're in an emergency situation, you have to focus on what you can control and not let the things you can't control, which there's always a lot in an emergency situation. You can't let those things get you stressed out and worried and scared. You have to focus on what you can control, which was for us to get our family supplies. So we went to the store to get the water, food, and things that we needed. And so when we went to the first store, right as they opened, we had a few carts full of water and a lot of canned goods and milk and juices and things like that, cereal and some meats and those kinds of things. And we weren't the only ones that were stocking up, but there were some. And also in the line at the grocery store, there were 2 ladies there that said that they had driven down from Milan to stock up because their stores were empty and closed in Milan. So that was a little alarming, but we just thought, okay, let's just get the things that we need. That way we're prepared and we don't need to worry about this. So that morning after we did the first stop, I had an appointment at the consulate with the consul general that morning, and they called and canceled my appointment because he had a press conference. And so we went and did our second stop to get the other supplies that we needed at a grocery store. And for mid-morning, okay, this was 11:30, the store was packed. There were so many people in the store. A lot of people stocking up, a lot of people crowding into the store, and they were even slowing people down from coming in because it was getting really crowded in the store. The shelves were emptying out. And so we were just glad. I mean, we got the things that we needed, made sure our family was prepared, and that was good. By the end of the day, we were seeing people in our neighborhood posting things on Facebook where the shelves were completely empty and bare, and we're like, oh, good thing we got our supplies. By the end of that day, there still weren't any cases in Florence, but a lot of things were starting to change. We had to decide, okay, are we going to send our kids to school tomorrow? Yeah, it's just so many unknowns. I'm sure everybody's been thinking about the same thing. Just a lot of questions. We were reading a lot of articles, watching the news. I was scheduled on Tuesday, the next day. I was supposed to take a full bus for Southern Utah University. Had their group that was arriving Monday into Florence, and I was supposed to take them to Carrara the next day. And my people in Carrara were calling me saying, okay, don't bring your bus up here, you need to cancel the tour. So I canceled the tour, and we just started preparing, okay, what are we going to do the next day? Let's figure out our plan for the family. In the meantime, I was starting to get a lot of people calling me, like future guests, and people asking how was the situation over there. What should we do? Should we cancel? People were canceling. Can we get a refund? A lot of people calling with lots of questions. And I had to just say, okay, whoa, I don't know anything. We can't make any decisions right now. I have to just wait for a couple weeks to see how all of this works out. Let's not make any decisions yet. So then we just had to decide, okay, what are we doing for our family? And we had decided that we were going to just keep our kids home from school. The schools were not closed, but we decided to keep them home because like it's going to hurt them to miss a day. We'd rather stay safe, so we're going to just sit this one out and just see how things play out tomorrow, and we'll just follow what's happening. We're going to play on the safe side. February 25th was Tuesday. We decided to keep our kids home. They all stayed home, and I noticed as I went out, everything was business as usual. Buses were running, and I got a call from my friend Susan and her friend Lori. They needed to move into a new apartment that week on Friday, and I said, look, let's just do it today. I can come with a van and help you, and then we can go get you guys some groceries and supplies so you guys are all taken care of. So we did, and when we went to the store, everything was as normal. Like, the buses were still running, trucks were coming in and out of town, so the stores were completely restocked. Everything looked normal. Everybody was shopping like normal, and we were wearing masks because we were like, it's not going to hurt us to wear a mask. It's fine. Let's wear a mask. And people weren't laughing at us and thinking we're crazy, but we were the only ones wearing a mask. And we stocked them up and got them what they needed. But yeah, the stores were completely restocked and filled. And I noticed in our morning market that some of the vendors for the produce market weren't there, but the others were completely stocked and full. And buses were running and everything. So our kids stayed home, but everybody else was in school. So our kids, of course, are like, why do we have to stay home? We want to be with our friends. We want to go out. But we kept our kids home. And then so then I started checking on our missionaries, because in our church, I've noticed that our church is always a lot more conservative, and I wasn't so sure where the Italian schools were open. Everybody's acting like tranquilla, everything's fine, don't overreact. And so I was watching how different other people were reacting. And with the missionaries, I called to check on them and see how they're doing. And their instructions were that they were on lockdown. So the missionaries had to cancel all their appointments. They couldn't be on public transport, and they could go to the store and get the supplies they needed, but they mainly needed to stay home. So I called to check on them to make sure they're all okay and everything was good. And then that afternoon, I got a phone call from my intern who was a student at Syracuse University. And he was the one with me to go to the Consul General. We were going to do some filming. And he called me and said, we just had a meeting at the school. They just canceled all of our classes. The semester is now suspended and we are all required to leave the country and go home. So he's like, I'm done. I have to leave in 3 days. And so then I started checking with the other students, the other study abroad students that I know here, check on them and see how they're doing. A lot of the European schools were saying that it's optional. Classes are still being run, but it was optional and they wouldn't be penalized if they didn't show up. And so I was just checking on the different students that I know to make sure they had what they needed, if they needed help with shopping or anything like that. Also on Tuesday, one of the things that I did is I went to the bank to get more cash. So we had cash on hand in case we weren't able to spend money regular ways. And I cashed a check and also went inside the bank so that I could break it down and get smaller bills, because it's always a good idea to have a lot of small bills on hand during an emergency situation. And everything seemed normal in the bank. And then we were trying to decide what to do because as our schools, the kids' schools, all the class reps were saying that business as usual until the mayor announces that schools are closed. Everyone is in school and everything is the same. So you can't keep missing school or you have to have a medical certificate. So, but here this church was on lockdown. We have a lot of the universities, the American universities are closing down. And so we were just trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to do? My husband had a flight scheduled for Wednesday, the next morning, to go to Dallas, but we canceled the flight because at that point we were just like, who knows what's going to happen? Because in the meantime, Venice was closed, Milan was closed, the numbers were increasing, and a lot of the cities around us were shutting down. And so regardless of the situation of the virus, who knows what's going to happen to our situation right here? Are we going to be on lockdown? Are we going to be stuck in the house? Are things going to change? And nobody knew what was going on with this virus. Like, how bad is it going to get? Is it going to change overnight? So yeah, there's just so many things we didn't know, but things are changing fast. And to be on the safe side, my husband canceled his flight. And then I was getting a lot more phone calls. I was getting cancellations on Airbnb. And I was finding that a lot of the people that were booked for March, their airlines were actually canceling their flights. So they had no choice. They were canceling. And so it was just like, stay tuned. Who knows what's happening next? February 26th, again, we didn't send our kids to school. My husband's flight was canceled. And I actually had a business meeting here at our vacation home that was going to take place that day, and we canceled the meeting. So it was a hard decision to make. I don't regret the decision, but I felt really bad because there's a lot of people really looking forward to it. Some people had really worked very hard to prepare for it. We had a lunch catered for it, and it was just, this whole week has been full of so many decisions to make and base it on who knows. Are we doing the right thing? Are we not? And so that has been a very exhausting part of this week, is so many decisions to make and not know for sure if we're really making the right decision. And so anyway, I took the food from this meeting and we went over and we visited the students with Southern Utah University that was here, the group that I wasn't able to take to Carrara. And my husband talked to them about emergency preparedness situations because that's what he does for a lot of government agencies. And so we just went about our day. And then also I had heard from my friend Anna Marie, who was planning to come for a month, and she was going back and forth too. Should I go? Should I come? Should I go? Should I come? And then she decided, I'm coming. I don't care. And so she was able to come. So it's been very interesting. Like, some people's flights are being canceled, but some people can. You can get in, but you can't get out. So it's just been in the air. Like, how can you travel? But then the bottom line has been stressful. Like, okay, if I do get on the plane, am I going to be stuck? Will I be able to get through the border? Will they quarantine me when I arrive? The other thing that's been stressful is we've been hearing too, like in China, a lot of them are being told they can't leave their house for 2 months. And so we're not as worried about the virus. Okay, so if we get it, we're probably not going to die. The odds are pretty low and the death rate is low. But the situation we're sitting in, what's going to happen? Like, are we going to be on lockdown? Will our city get locked down when all these cities around us are being locked down? Will we be stuck in the house for 2 months? Who knows? It was just a really stressful time, and every time I sit down to try to work, I can't concentrate. Should I even continue planning these large group tours I'm in the middle of? Should I go forward with planning people's trips and I'm going to cancel them anyway? So emotionally, it was just getting very frustrating. Then our kids. So this is the third day, no school. And in emergency situations, people react completely differently emotionally. So we're not so scared about, oh, we're going to die. This virus is so bad. But the underlying stress in the background, in the back of all of our minds, what's going to happen. And our kids, one moment would be laughing, and the next moment they're all screaming at each other. And then one person's crying, or one person's telling another to get over it, quit overreacting. But it was just exhausting. It was just a week full of so many decisions. And so at that point, we just, had to have family prayer. Let's keep going forward. We have to just hope that we're doing the right things. We don't need to worry about, we're not going to die, but there's a good chance we could all get the virus. So we can't control that, but at this point, it was just getting real nerve-wracking and stressful. So that night, still school was in, and so we gave the decision to our children, and we said, all right, look, you're probably going to get it. If you want to go back to school, you can go back to school. But one problem in Italy is we all kiss. That's the culture here. We all kiss each other. And so when you're dealing with a virus that's passed with air particles and breathing on each other, or kissing and touching your faces and all that kind of stuff, and you're in a culture where we just kiss all the time, we had told our kids, all right, are you comfortable socially if you go to school to tell your friends you're not kissing, or give the elbow bump or the fist bump, but don't kiss everybody. Just keep it safe. And so we said, okay, the decision's yours. You guys could go to school or not. If you're not comfortable with saying I'm not kissing anybody today, then you can stay home. So they all made the decision. One of our daughters went to school. One wasn't feeling good anyway with something else. And the other one was like, I don't want to do that. Socially, I'm not interested. I'll just stay home. So that was the end of Wednesday. Okay, so February 27th, which was Thursday, one of our daughters went to school, and then during the day I went and I met with each of the schools individually and just said, okay, just tell me what you're doing, what precautions are you taking, how strict are you with the absences, do my kids need to come back with a medical certificate, which I really didn't want to go to the doctor to get a certificate to excuse their absences. I was staying away from that. But I was more assured because I was finding that all of them were taking a lot more precautions than normal. They were cleaning the bathrooms frequently. Everybody had sanitizer. And so I was feeling a lot more confident. I mean, at this point, we're all going to get it. We're all going to get the virus. So we decided we're going to send our kids to school the next day. Okay, so by Friday, everything is still normal in town. The stores are stocked, trucks are coming in and out, buses are running, everything is still looking good. We're a lot calmer about the virus, a lot of good details in the media. We're not as stressed about getting it, we probably will. And who knows, because we have to wait 14 days anyway. For all we know, all of Florence is probably carrying it, but because you don't know and for 14 days. Anyway, so everything was kind of as normal. We're just moving forward, trying to get some work done, trying to focus on things. I went and picked up my kids and was asking them, okay, was everybody washing their hands? Everybody being careful? They all wanted to go with friends. Everybody's anxious to just get back into life, And two of my girls are saying, oh yeah, there are people in class, they're all coughing and sneezing all day. And I'm just thinking, okay, whatever. We're going to get it. it's fine and we're not going to die, but okay. So, here I've been trying all week, trying to be so careful and keep everybody protected and trying to make good decisions, trying to move forward. What am I going to do with work? And Friday night, I was shocked. I was the one that broke down. Friday morning, I was laughing. I was like, whatever, this has been a crazy, horrendous week. We're all going to get the virus anyway. What else can you do? You got to just laugh about it. And then Friday afternoon, after I picked up the girls, and they're like, can we just go with friends? We want to go out. And I'm like, take your sanitizer. But they're all kids and their friends anyway. And they were telling me kids in their class were coughing and sneezing all through class. And I was just like, I'm ready to get back to work. But I'm frustrated, and where do I start, and what do I do? And then out of the blue, I just started bawling. I was just exhausted. It's just been a crazy week, like a week full of tons of decisions, worry, concern, a lot of things happening around us. And, people in the U.S. are thinking, oh, it's a hype. Oh, people are overreacting. It's just a political, people are taking political advantage, whatever. Everybody's saying different things and trying not to overreact and that kind of thing. But the bottom line was, it's been exhausting. And I'm sitting there laughing, why am I bawling? This is just so stupid. I'm tired of this week. It's just, I'm trying to make the best decisions and didn't know what to do. And in the end, can't do anything about it. Okay, so basically the bottom line of this week, it's just been a huge disruption. That's the bottom line. It's just been crazy. Forget the fact of the virus and the fears and the worries. It has been a huge disruption on our lives here in Florence. It's like we're planning all these great meetings and events coming up, but it's going to just be canceled anyway. Things with the kids, what plans should we do? My husband's work travel plans have changed 3 times this week, and not only is that stressful just with the schedule and details, but if he can get his work done and be able to get these contracts in, which affects us financially, is another emotional issue, underlying problem. So anyway, everyone in Florence, some people are just like, it's not a big deal, get over it, but yet we're all just fried. Everyone's just fried. It's been a long week, tons of decisions, tons of energy, and it's exhausting. Are we on lockdown? Are we not? What's going to happen? So Friday night, it was just like, burn this week. Like, this week is over. Let's move on, let it go. And Friday night I was just fried. I was just like, forget it all. We'll start again tomorrow. And so we all slept in. We chilled out, we relaxed, and then I was checking in on people, and come to find out, in the Milan mission, in the church, all of the senior missionaries have been sent home, and a lot of the missionaries, if they have asthma or any health conditions that would cause their immunity system to be weaker, they have been sent home. Our good friends from Southern Utah University are being sent home. They were at the beginning of a month-long trip, so they're pretty sad to go. But overall, who knows how things go. So for my channel, though, subscribe now, hit the bell so you can see my updates. I'm going to be doing daily updates so you can see how things are going each day, and maybe some of the things that I share can help you think about your own situation and maybe help you think through your own scenario. But I'm excited about my channel. I have been doing some fun things. I've really had a good time getting prepared for it, and I have some fun videos, so I'll start releasing those. But in the meantime, until then, I'm going to be doing a daily update. So subscribe and hit the bell so you see my newest videos. But who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll be like, okay, we're on lockdown, who knows what we're doing, or yay, it's over, everything's fine, or maybe I'm crying, or really happy or sad, I don't know. So anyway, subscribe to the channel and watch for tomorrow, and until tomorrow, ci vediamo presto.